The data suggests that Turbo is about to explode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only Turbo Toad token. Now, look, we're going to jump into the basics, then we're going to jump into the technical analysis, some coin confessions, and even some things that the community have been saying. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, over the last year, we're up 12%, so obviously not the most exciting. In the last month, we're up 1.33%. In the last 7 days, we're actually up almost 16%. So very, very nice. We're grinding it up every single day. In the last day, we're up 1.38%. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the holders, right, we have been just going up. Nothing too crazy, but roughly, I'd say 20 holders a day, which is not bad, not bad. But we talked about momentum last time. We know that when there's going to be a lot of momentum, a lot of hype, a lot of bandwagon, Turbo is going to see insane amount of holders, right? I truly do believe in the peak of the bull run, we're going to be having thousands and thousands of holders, new holders every single day. Because I've seen it before with other cryptos. I've seen it with Doge. I've seen it with Sheep. I've seen it with everything, right? All those holders you see for all those big cryptos, a lot of that happens within like the last little period. People like us, we are early, but we are the ones that are going to be rewarded. Okay, and that is the truth. We are going to be the ones that are going to be rewarded as long as we obviously sell. Okay, as long as we obviously sell, we are going to be rewarded. When we go and look at some of the technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen, we can see, right? We can see that overall in the last couple of months, it's been really, really messy, right? It's been really, really messy. We've had many rejections over the last few months, right? April, May, July, even August, right? August was a little bit scary because there was a point where we just couldn't go past a certain point, right? We couldn't go below this candle over here of 0.00367, and we were at 0.00385. So we got a little bit close. It got a little bit scary at one point, but at the end of the day, we held and it was more than good enough. We can see that in terms of candles, ladies and gentlemen, right? We have been respecting this huge support, right? This huge support we have been respecting, right? We fell through it in March, but in April, boom, we recovered. And ever since then, this has been our main ground floor. And this is very important, right? Of course, I believe, we are going to start going to the upside very, very soon. So I don't expect for us to break down, but this is the key level, right? If this were to be broken, obviously it would be devastating. But at this current moment, there's zero suggestion that we are going to be going down lower. Okay, and that is just the truth. In fact, since we have been going sideways for many weeks, we are bound for an explosion, right? We are bound for an explosion. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, right? As of right now, we are just kind of going up fundamentally, but I do believe we are going to speed up. I do believe we are going to speed up, and we can see the momentum has shifted ever since we kind of broke out of this very long trend, right? We were in this very long trend from here to all the way something like this, and we can see, right, for many weeks. I mean, since mid-July, and it took practically the beginning of September to break out. So what is that? We had the whole July to August, August to September. So we had like a month and a half, more or less, pretty much of just going up and down, sideways, mainly down. And then we finally broke out. We finally broke out. And we can see we've been holding very nice. There's literally zero suggestion that we are going to be going lower. We can see that we have been consistently creating very nice lows. And we've been creating very nice, consistent higher lows, right? Consistent higher lows. Boom, clear as day. We have a lot of this here. Very boom. We can even see in the minor details, right? When we look at the minor details, this is practically like a double bottom, higher low, boom. We break out of the zone. Now we're selling off a little bit, but most likely we're going to tap and just continue to go up. Like that is just the God honest truth. So September is most likely going to be a very fundamental month. We know there's Fed rate cuts happening next week, just in a couple of days. Like it's super exciting. The moment we've all been anticipating, the moment we've all been excited for, it is happening, right? It is happening. It is confirmed. We are striking at least 25 points. And they said there's a very, very high probability, extremely high probability of having another rate cut by the end of the year. And some, not very highly likely, but some were suggesting we could even have up to three. Because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, the federal rate cuts, you have to understand that we should actually be much lower. We're like at 4.50 or whatever. We should be like at two. Okay, now that sounds crazy, but we actually should. So there's lots and lots of upside over the next coming months in terms of federal rate cuts, in terms of market liquidity, in terms of structure, just in terms of everything. It's going to be super, 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 super exciting. I know sometimes patience starts to run out and stuff, and things can get a little bit scary, but the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that things are looking very, very good. Now, if we go before we end this off with some technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay, we're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review. Right, you got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. I do want to do coin confessions of the day because it was actually a funny one. Got to know my girlfriend 4 years ago with 7K to my name and mental problems and obesity. Now, 4 years later, I am at 300K and healed for the M in the next bull run. Weigh 80 kilograms and feeling better than I ever was. She healed me and made me a better person. And now she left me, and I don't know what to do with my life. I never imagined to have so much money and still be sad. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, when you break up, it is normal to grieve, especially if you're the one that got broken up with, right? Because when you are mentally done, spiritually done with somebody, yeah, there's still gonna be some sad times and everything, but you're the one breaking up with them. In this case, if you're the one broken up with, that can make you feel like you weren't good enough. That can make you feel like, this and this. But in the day, you got to realize, for you, if you ever listen to this, you got to find God, right? God is great. God is good. I'm a Christian myself. You know, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe, you find God, you have a great foundation of 300,000. You're doing much better mentally. You're doing much better physically. Sure, your emotions right now are a little bit down, but that's just temporary. And you have the opportunity to be making millions over the next couple of months. You have the opportunity to find your wife. Like, you have the perfect foundation. So lock in, brother. Lock in, brother. I hope you find the one. Listen, some of the things the Turbo community has been saying, Turbo has been in accumulation zone for 4 months. A monthly close above could trigger a massive pump. Smart move, right? Gradual spot accumulation here. And we can see, right? Look, we have literally been just going sideways for months now. And if you know how like the fundamentals of the market, when something goes sideways for a very long time, it's because it's setting up for a massive, gigantic pump. Okay, it is setting up for a massive, gigantic pump. And we've seen this, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this with something like even like gold. I know gold can technically be an anomaly because it is a safe haven. But look, gold was going sideways for a very, very long time, right? We can see gold was going sideways for years since 2011 up until 2024, and then it just started to rally, 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 right? And we can see there's been times where we had to go sideways a little bit to pump, a little bit sideways to pump, but nothing too crazy, right? But once we kind of got off the leash, we just haven't ever really stopped. We were here for a couple of months, a couple of sideways months, going sideways for a couple of months, and then what happened? Boom, right? We're just going up again. So this is going to be the same thing for something like Turbo, except it's not going to take years and years and years and years, right? It's not going to take years and years. It's going to just take a couple more months, most likely, right? I still do not know 100%. Obviously, in terms of data, we are on track, but in terms of the official, like, this is it moment, we have to see in the moment, right? I know the signs, I know what to look for, but to give you the exact date, I cannot do that, right? I cannot do that. But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Stay safe, brush your hair, take care of your teeth. Smell good, look good, feel good, love your family, love yourself, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.